Hello everyone, welcome and thank you for checking out this video on art history. My name is Mr. Compton. If you have further questions after watching this video, feel free to track me down in W204B. I will be around. Let's jump into it. So why take art history? That's the question we're going to try to answer here. First, there are some college advantages for taking art history. One, you can take the AP exam for college credit. This is optional. You can take Newman University college credit, also optional. This looks absolutely great on college or on high school transcripts, and colleges really like to see it. They get really impressed when they see art history on a high school transcript. Finally, it will count toward one of your fine arts credits for graduation. So these are some of the kind of academic reasons why. Let's get into some more personal reasons. Well, I will claim that art history will change your life. Now, that's a big claim, I know. Take a look at the quote. We do not see the world as it is. We see the world as we are. So I want you to think about that for a second. I'm going to prove it to you. Think about a time when your mom, your dad, your uncle, your aunt, yourself even bought a new car, and all of a sudden you started seeing that car and that particular car color everywhere. It's not because the world changed. Those cars had always been there. But your perception of the world had changed. And so as you take art history, your perception of the world will change. Now, I want you to think about why people have made art throughout history. And the most common answer is self-expression. And though that is true, that is one of the last reasons why humans began to make art. One of the first reasons why we began to make art is funerary. Meaning we made art that would be buried with the dead. That's where we get most of our Egyptian artwork and many others. The next is for power. A lot of kings, queens, pharaohs, etc. would have artwork created to display their power. Next comes religious and spiritual purposes. These could be ceremonial items as well as temples, you name it. Lastly, cultural and social reasons, and I'll give you some examples from each of these, so let's jump into that. Often, there will be a combination of the two. First example comes from Egypt. These are funerary works. We have King Tut's innermost coffin, and then we have a scroll from the Book of the Dead there on papyrus. Next, we have an example of statuary showing the power of the pharaoh. Not only is he very strong, but he has the god Horus in that bird form wrapped around his head to protect him. Religious and spiritual reasons, it should go without saying, but here's an example of a Buddhist temple, a Muslim shrine, and a Hindu temple. Cultural and social, we see this all the time, especially once we get into kind of the Enlightenment forward. Here's an example from some French revolutionary periods, and maybe a famous painting that you have seen before. Finally, we get to self-expression. This may be one of the most popular and most well-known paintings of self-expression, and it also happens to be one of the first purely self-expressive pieces of artwork. Here's some of the works we'll study. We'll study three main categories. We'll study painting. We have Van Gogh and Klimt and David. We will look at architecture. We have the Taj Mahal. We have a Christian cathedral. And then we have Mesa Verde in Colorado from the indigenous Americas. Lastly, we'll study sculpture. You can see a marble sculpture on the left, an African mask in the center there, and then an enormous Buddhist statue carved into a cliff there. So when should you take art history? One, the majority of my students take it when they're juniors or seniors. If you are in the IB program, it does seem to be most convenient to take it your sophomore year, and so please consider that as you're signing up for your sophomore classes. I will take other sophomores as well, so anytime you're a sophomore, junior, or senior year. Lastly, I'll just say, speaking from Nike, Winged Victory, this is one of our art pieces, art history, just do it, sign up, we'll have a great time. Thank you for listening.